What's up, Sales Samurai? Just Larry here. And in today's training, I'm going to talk through one of the most important exercises and most importantly, frameworks that you can use to actually land your dream offer, what I call that rainmaker offer that's bringing you that 10, 15, 20K plus per month commissions. So here's a quick caveat. Right, I don't want you guys to overlook this training because I personally know whenever I find training that forces me to think things like vision, your dream lifestyle, your goals. While it might seem simple, you might have gone through an exercise like this before. I'm going to invite you guys to really think about this in a different way because this is beyond just going about thinking about your goals and, what you care about and your values. Like this is actually your internal compass that you're going to be using to determine the right offer, the right vehicle for you moving forward. So if you shortchange this, if you shortcut this exercise right here, the data that you put in here is only going to be as good as your decision making moving forward. I'm going to say that again. If you had bad data here, you're going to have bad decisions moving forward on an offer. If you have good data here and you actually take this seriously, you're going to have great data to actually decide on how to make your offers. I want to make this quick distinction before we dive in. I'm going to talk about what I call the North Star or lifestyle design exercise. And so I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. Entire screen. Give me a second. And what you guys should see is this quick whiteboard. Okay. So I'm going to walk you guys through it because I think one of the things that is very top of mind for me as I'm going through any sort of this type of work is I want to be doing this when I have energy, when I'm clear headed. I don't necessarily want to be doing this when I'm tired or just trying to force my way through it. Like, ideally, grab a cup of coffee. Right. I have mine right here. Being a distraction free, set aside 30 minutes and have some nice instrumental, classical, jazz, house music, whatever it is. Have some in the background while you're seriously considering this stuff. Right. So, what I'm going to show you before we actually go into the actual whiteboard itself. What I'm showing you right here is the actual notion, what I call the lifestyle design. Okay. So the first thing we're going to define is what I call the North Star framework, the 3 Ps and the 3 Ds, right? Now, oftentimes when we go through goal setting, oh, there you go, lots of tabs there. When we go through some sort of goal setting, like I've realized that most people, especially in the online sales world, they're only telling you to like focus on the actual monetary goal, right? So they say, hey, write down your goal. How much do you want to make? You want to make 5K in the next 3 months? You want to make 10K? You want to make 20K? What is it, right? Now, that's important. Goals, monetary, are important. I call this like the first P, which is the profits, right? But what's actually just as important is having a goal, having a destination you want to reach, and actually having guardrails or what I call constraints attached to these goals. So let me go real quickly into defining what this means, right? Constraint definition. It is a limitation or a restriction, right? Let's go to Merriam-Webster to find this definition. The act of constraining, and the state of being checked, restricted, or compelled to avoid or perform some action. A constraining condition, right? Let's see if we go to what constraining could actually mean. To restrict the motion of, to force by imposed stricture, restriction, or limitation. To hold back by or is by force, okay? So there's a couple reasons why you might have restrictions, or a better word for that is boundaries. The reason why we want to have boundaries is if we don't have boundaries and if we don't have these, guardrails towards our goal, what often ends up happening is you actually might actually hit your goal, but you trade off something that you didn't want to, unintentionally, you didn't actually want to trade off. So let me give you an example. How many times have we heard of those people who are like multimillionaires, but they traded their family in the process? Maybe they've gone through multiple divorces, their kids hate them, they just never built the right family life. And the thing that they wanted was actually not just the money, they also wanted the family life. Or that person who, is making a multiple six-figure income, but then in the process of that 3 to 5 year journey of making 20, 30K, 50K plus per month, they become very overweight. They've stopped hitting the gym, and they find out they're so unhealthy, like they got, they're in a serious danger of their health, right? That is what they call this idea of a Pyrrhic victory, which is you might have won the war, you might have won the battles, but you trade off so much in the process of it that it wasn't even worth it. That there was more sacrifices that you gave in the process for your goal, which is not good, right? I've personally been in that process where, I remember I hit my first 10K month, felt great, felt awesome, worked my butt off to get that. But I traded so many years to do that, right? Like I was working full time pretty much my senior year of college. I immediately after a week of graduating moved to San Diego to start my agency and like didn't even have a reset after college, right? So what ended up happening was I ended up hitting that 10K month, and the issue that I had was I was burnt out. Right? I was getting tired. I was like, I need to figure out a way to create systems, to create balance, to create harmony in the process of hitting my next goal. And so that exact strategy, that exact system that I developed for not just profits, but also peace, I'm going to share you that framework today. So that's why it's called the 3 P's, because it's peace, profits, and last but not least, purpose. Okay. Now, how I want you to guys to think about this is it's almost like a triangle. Okay. The top of this triangle is purpose, peace, and there's profits. Now, this is how my 3 P's are. Okay. At the top of my triangle, the thing that I'm prioritizing, the thing that holds the most weight is purpose. Now, for some people, you might just be in a different season, meaning, hey, you might be 20 years old, 21 years old, and it's okay to want to prioritize profits over the other things, right? It's not like a hard and fast rule. Personally, I'm prioritizing purpose right now. So what your specific thing might look like might actually look like this. Might look like profits because you're okay with leaning on, might not having as much peace as long as you optimize profits. And, purpose is kind of, maybe you're young and maybe it's not that season of life for you to start thinking about purpose, right? And that's okay. I'm not telling you what's wrong or right. There was a season of my life after I'd burnt out and I wanted my 4-month sabbatical that I didn't give a rat's ass, excuse my French, really about the profits. And I just want peace in my life because I was missing so much peace for so long, right? So it's up to you to define what, you're going to prioritize. And remember, it's okay for these 3 Ps to interchange. It's okay for you in one season right now for the next year, you're just primarily maybe 80, 90% of the focus is on profits. That's fine. That's for you to understand. That being said, now you're going to, knowing this data, use that data to make a decision to find an offer that maybe, hey, work-life balance isn't that great, but profits is there, right? But I know that because I've done the thinking. Or maybe you're on an offer where the most important thing is not actually making a bunch of money. You're okay with making 8, 10K per month, but what they really have is awesome peace, autonomy, gives you a sense of purpose. And you're like, dude, that's the offer for me. What I really want to prioritize in these next 6 to 12 months is actually having more peace in my life so I can focus on my health. So I can also have some balance in my relationships. Maybe go out and date. Maybe you're getting married. Who knows, right? It's okay for these things to change. What I'm doing right now is I'm defining what my priorities are in my 3 Ps. The problem is in this internet marketing, online remote sales world is you're told this lie that you have to like prioritize money or you have to do the thing that gets you to 20K per month. I'm going to tell you guys, when you actually finally hit that goal, you realize, wow, there are other things that I want in life outside of just money. So this program and the dojo is just as much about helping you guys hit your professional goals and your personal goals without trading this stuff off. Because trust me, there's some things that you're just going to get where you make the trade-off and you can't even never recover it, right? Sometimes that happens in life. You lose your health, well, sayonara, good luck. It's gone, right? It's hard to recover from. So you want to balance these things out. Now, let's have this tangible. I gave you guys the understanding there. Let me actually have it tangibly. So let's say we're back in this Notion doc, right? Think of peace as your constraint, right? We define constraints, right? So while peace or profits is the goal, what is your monetary goal, right? This is a number. This is often just like, I want to make 20K per month. Okay. Think of peace as your constraint. It's like the guardrails, right? What is the constraint? So I'll give you a couple examples of what it's been in my life. It's like, okay, I'm willing to hit 20K per month, but I have to do it in 40 hours a week or less, right? So it can be a time thing. It can also just be an area of life. So it's like, hey, I'm willing to get 20K per month, but my non-negotiable, my constraint is I need to have time to at least have one date night with my wife per week, right? If I have an offer where I'm working nights because the time zone is crazy and I can't ever take my wife out on dates, this is probably not the right offer for me to accept. You get that? Right? It's a constraint. Other thing, there's other ways, is like maybe your piece is just your level of autonomy. I don't want an offer where they're micromanaging me. They're forcing me to hop on 1 to 2 hours of training and huddles every single day. They're like in my neck, breathing in Slack, right? That is the opposite of peace in my value system when someone's micromanaging me. So maybe part of your peace goal is I want that 10K per month commission check, but I'm not taking an offer that's going to take my autonomy. That's not going to allow me to have my evenings. It's going to force me to work weekends, whatever it might be. So I'm giving you guys some ideas of what peace is, but think of peace as just like the constraint to reach your goal. Another alternative way to think of it is your non-negotiable, meaning, hey, I'm not willing to sacrifice this, right? I'm not willing to sacrifice a 40-hour work week or my hobby of playing music, or I'm not willing to move from New York City to Austin, Texas because they have an in-person office, whatever it might be, right? Like these are things that are like your guardrails. Just like in bowling, right? When you're in bowling, you can play without bumpers or you can play with bumpers, right? Here's your pins. Here's your bowling ball. What you're doing is you're creating bumpers. So if you're starting to get off track, it keeps you on path. That's why peace is so important. So many times I've seen burnt out, stressed out, unfulfilled business owners, entrepreneurs, sales reps who come to me and they're like, dude, I finally had that 100K per month agency that I've wanted for years, and yet I'm more miserable at this level than I was at 40, 50K per month. I was like, what happened? And you find out it's because they created a profit goal, but they failed to create a peace goal. They didn't have a North Star. So the North Star is a few components of a couple different things, right? But that's why I want to view it as a composition of 6 key things as opposed to just like what most people think it is, which is like just one thing, which is the monetary goal, right? Now, I'll share the other 4 here in a second, but I wanted to really define this and make sure that you guys get this. So beyond actually, okay, what is now peace? What is now profits? We got to do something else, which is purpose. Think of this as like your guys' is like burning coal versus firewood, right? Like this is your internal source, your internal energy that keeps you in the long game to want to play for the long term. I'm not talking 1 to 2 years. I'm talking like, how do I play this game for 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years? Well, you're probably going to need something bigger than you, which is purpose. So oftentimes, right, like this might look like a couple different things. And hey, if you're younger and you've thought about these ideas of like purpose before, like it's okay if this is not something that's come to you yet, right? Like, I was doing all like the vivid vision exercises and, oh, I wanted to create a life of purpose in like 21 years old. But the truth was, dude, I was just too young. I didn't have much life experience. And as altruistic as I thought I wanted to be, the truth is I just wasn't at that stage of life yet, right? The truth is purpose might not even come to you till you're in your 30s or 40s. I'm not saying people who are young can't step into their purpose. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying there's a season and stage for that you will be called to in life, and you'll know it when it happens, right? So my purpose has started to get more clear and vivid month after month the older I get. But I would be lying to you guys if I was going to say I know 100% my purpose on here and on life, and I'm going to do it right now. No, like it kind of like just stair steps, right? At 24, I started to kind of realize it. 25, I was like, okay, get clearer. 26, it started to really click. Then turned 27, all of a sudden I was like, okay, I think I'm starting to actually start to see this fuzzy picture. There's starting to actually be some clarity here. And even to this day, I'm in the awesome, beautiful experience of realizing my purpose more and more each day, right? So my purpose goal is to help impact 100,000 people and have a following of 100,000 people on social media. I want to be able to use and become an influence and message and voice for other people. So I'm on a mission to impact 100,000 people and use social media as my platform to be able to reach the masses, help increase and elevate people's sales consciousness so that they can actually increase not just their wealth consciousness, but their personal mastery and life consciousness as well. Right. So there's things about purpose that you'll continue to get into, right? And it's okay if you don't have it now, but just start to really think about it because you want a fuel source. You want something that's higher than yourself. So maybe maybe you're Muslim or Christian, or maybe you follow some sort of religion and your purpose is giving back to that community, right? Maybe it's, you're wanting to give back to your family. Maybe you want to retire your parents or buy your mom a house, or, you want to be able to give back to your kids, whatever that is. Find a fuel source that fuels you. There's no hard and fast rule to this purpose. I just want you guys to know that it's part of your North Star. And why it's so important is because when you're tapped into a fuel source that is long lasting, the coal versus the firewood with lighter fluid, right? The coal is going to burn for a long time. It's hot, it's consistent, it's not in this huge out of flame thing, it's a long game. Firewood with lighter fluid, you put the lighter fluid, huge combustion, but within like 2 minutes it's gone, right? I don't want inconsistent up and down energy. Oh, you're really excited one day and then it's gone. I want consistent, long-lasting, predictable energy so you can play this sales and business game for a long time. Because guess what? This game is really fun when you're in it for the long term and you find fulfillment in it, right? So those are the 3 Ps. What I'm also going to talk about right now is the 3 Ds. So in the next training, I'm going to actually walk you through how to actually fill out the worksheet, but I wanted to give you guys this high level understanding so that you understand the framework for all this, right? And at the end of the day, back to what I said before we go to the 3Ds, why this is so important is this is your internal compass, y'all. We're crafting your lifestyle and North Star so that then we can figure out your values, and from your values, create that offer scorecard or ideal offer selection, right? The reason why most of the time people offer jump in this remote sales world is because they just jump straight to one thing, which is like, what's the thing that's going to make me the most money? They don't base that on a clear decision with clear data based on their values, what they actually want in life, and what they're actually defining as success, right? So that's a really important thing is we want to create the internal compass in GPS. So when we see like 2 or 3, 4 different offers, we're making a decision based on that internal compass, as opposed to just like, this one feels good. Oh, other people are making money on it. I should accept that. 2 months go by, you realize it's completely misaligned fit, and you're just in this cycle, wasting time, resources, and energy in the process, right? This is why we're putting in the hard work now. So now let's talk about the 3Ds. The 3Ds, and I got a lot of this, the 3Ds specifically, the 3Ps are mine, but I got a lot of the 3Ds from Taylor Welch over in the Old Traffic and Funnels Guy, Wealthy Consultant. He talks about define, design, and decide. Okay? Define, design, and decide. So in this worksheet, let's go back to this real quick. I'm going to help you define different things like what is your definition of success, right? How do you want to feel? And quickly understand what is your definition of success. Not the definition of success other people told you, not the definition of success on that marketing ad that got you into remote sales or the online world, right? Because marketing and advertising are really easy to manipulate and make you think that you want a Lamborghini, and that's the definition of success. It's not what you see in the IG reels or the TikTok, right? Like, I want you to define what success and winning looks like to you. What does your good life actually look like? For some people, it's just like making 10K per month. They have enough money to travel the world and they can do that in 25 to 30 hours a week, right? And remember, your definition of success can change. So I want you to define that. Then so once we define that, we're actually going to design that. And it's not all happening on this worksheet. Part of the systems that we talk about are time design, energy design, lifestyle design, right? So this is a small component of what designing all these things are going to look like, so they're in alignment with your peace, with your profits, your purpose, and your definitions of success, right? We're going to chunk that down, design that one step at a time, right? And that also includes defining and designing what you don't want in life, just as important, right? I'm going to design these guardrails of ways that I don't get distracted, or how I know when to say no to something, right? You're going to design an actual blueprint and a checklist of what not to say yes to, right? What are the things we say no to? What are the things that are non-negotiables that if they're not in an offer or in an opportunity, I'm not going to say yes to that, right? And then last but not least, decide, right? So it's not, decide is not on this worksheet, but part of a core phase in this training as you go out and land your Rainmaker offer is we got to go out there and make a decision, right? When you've defined it, you've designed it, and you have your internal compass, there's one core committed thing you got to do, which is make a committed decision. So decide, right? Actually take action on the next step. So I want you guys to go back to this. The reason why I call it North Star is it's really simple. When you take the 3 P's and you take the 3 D's, what do we get? A star. Define, design, and decide. Okay? So there you have it. When you take the 3 P's, you take the 3 D's, right? You've figured out what is my profits goal, what is my peace goal, what is my purpose goal, what is my definition of success, how do I design the right systems for this, and make a decision to decide. That is when you hit that sweet spot that you've landed your Rainmaker offer. That's it, right? You're in the right vehicle, and most importantly, you have something I call directional certainty. Directional certainty. So you are certain in the direction in the vehicle that you are, that it's going to actually help you hit your North Star. And what it allows you to do is it doesn't just give you peace and patience and confidence and 100% certainty and conviction that you're going to hit your goal with enough time and enough practice. But most importantly, it allows you to enjoy the journey as you're having it. It's not enough to know that as the passage of time happens, you're going to hit your goal. What's just as important is as the passage of time happens, you thoroughly enjoy life and the journey as it occurs, right? So with that being said, guys, that's the core outcome. That's the 3 P's and 3 D's framework. That is what the North Star is. That is truly what the North Star is. So I'm going to realign you guys all throughout this program and this coaching, like, hey, what is your North Star? And when I ask you that, I want you to tell me just 3 things. Profits goal, hey, hit 10K per month. Peace goal, do it in 40 hours a week or less. Purpose goal, I want to help contribute to my community, my church. After I've made X amount, I want to be able to give 10%, whatever it might be, right? Then from there, we're going to take the systems, knowing the North Star, we're going to define how to do this, design it, and then we're going to decide and actually take action on the right thing. With that being said, guys, that's it for today's training. Hope you got a lot out of this, right? This is something that I've been thinking a lot about, and I wanted to be able to like just share that with you guys and be part of, this beautiful thinking with you, because I'm not here to just tell you what to do, right? Like if I just told you what offers to do and not actually teach you how to think about this stuff, I'm not really equipping you. In this program, I'm going to give you fish and I'm going to teach you how to fish. And most important, I'm going to really instill on how I think about these things so that as you grow, as you mature, you yourself can have the sweet beauty that you're the one who's been doing it, right? With a little bit of my help, but it's mainly you. So with that being said, Ainara, Sales Sensei out. Cheers, y'all.